All right, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel joins us now. Coach, thanks for joining us. I know you're doing
Absolutely.
a car wash here. Evan and I, we don't get up early enough to talk to you during the season. I think the last time we talked to you was here at the Combine. Have you had a chance to process that last year?
You guys can ask questions. I do a press conference twice a week. You guys are free You're free to ask questions there.
We don't get you one-on-one like this, though. But have you had a chance to process this last year yet?
Probably not. I just keep it moving and figure out what we need to do next. I think that's what we've done since we started a little over a year ago. So the idea is just kind of figure out what we need to do for the team and go about doing it.
Does Combine help with that at all?
Of course.
Getting something new, another event?
Yeah, because everybody's here. We have, most of our staff here and, the personnel staff and some of the coaches have come in. We're excited about going to dinner tonight before the meeting. So, Miss Nancy Myers sets that up, and that'll be a great thing here tonight that we'll be able to do. Have great dinner with everybody that's in, and then we'll head over to the interviews.
Are you a St. Elmo's guy, Prime 47?
I'm a steak guy. I don't discriminate. The shrimp cocktails all got spicy horseradish sauce, and I don't discriminate.
All right,
steak is steak.
What's the last couple weeks looked like for you personally, just obviously coming off the Super Bowl?
Well, you try to visit with the players and coaches and try to figure out what the staff needs and the adjustments that you make with the staff, and try to take a little bit of time. Went skiing with Carter. Went skiing for 3 days with him, and that was enough. I got wore out.
No injuries?
No injuries. But just try to make some time for family, but also make time for work and this football team.
No, you got to start over at the beginning every year, but is there some things that you can take from that season you feel like you established?
And I don't know if it's starting over from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think you have to start over from, the things that you feel really, really confident about moving forward and that you want to build with and kind of go from there. And then, add the pieces and look to the draft and look to free agency and, who can you develop and what can you get out of, somebody else that maybe you didn't think that you had in them or he didn't think he had in himself. And, but those will be things that we'll do here moving forward just with our current team and then what it looks like going forward with the pieces that we add.
I wanted to just ask you a little bit about the staff. Obviously, Zach, being promoted here, defensive coordinator. Just what did you see as an assistant that you thought if he could call plays, he'd be a good DC?
I just thought, a very intelligent football coach. He had an offensive background that when he came to Tennessee provided us with a lot of information when we were in those defensive meeting rooms on, hey, this is what they're trying to do. This is what bothers or maybe forces them to do something differently. And so that's how his role started. And then he progressed to a defensive coach, handled our red zone installation and the presentation and the conversations. And he continued to grow. And then when we got here, it just was obvious from an early time when Big T was working through some stuff that Zach was capable of leading and also improved, each and every week.
You've been a defensive coordinator. What is the biggest challenge of having, can you imagine yourself jumping into that job kind of unexpectedly?
Well, I think as a position coach, you're always thinking about that. And I think that when you try to think about that, like, hey, what would I call here? What adjustment or what do we have to be careful of here? You're always just trying to train and sharpen and think about that. Now, whether that matches up or marries up with the play caller, that may not always happen. But you're always in your head thinking about that's the way that you have to look at it. Just as the same way as you're sitting there and you're thinking about, hey, this is what the head coach wants to do. Is this what I would do? And I'm going to support this as a position coach or a coordinator. I'm gonna support it. But is this what I would do? Most of the time it is. Sometimes it looks a little different. So when you get your opportunity, you can do those things.
When it comes to Terrell, you mentioned at the podium just a few minutes ago that you have a vision for his role. Can you just share any insight into what that vision might look like?
It's going to be a strong role on the defense. Like he is going to act as a coordinator and presenting information and ideas and bringing us the front and making sure that we're really solid across the front from our edges to the interior. We've got some guys inside that I think can continue to develop and grow. Whether that's Milt or Christian or anybody else, I think that those guys can continue to get better. And Terrell's going to have a large hand in that, but he's also going to be able to help me and extend being an extension of me throughout our program.
I know you haven't jumped in too much on the draft yet, but do you enjoy that process? Do you gravitate towards maybe position you played, or do you like it? Like, do you have fun with trying to find these kids and
of course.
find players?
Yeah,
that can help
it's
you?
important. I mean, the draft is, has to be the cornerstone of your, your team, and it's the youth, and you put a lot of time into these guys. We spend a lot of time with the draft guys, and then the free agents. If you don't know something about them, sometimes you don't know what you're getting. But we have a lot of knowledge of these guys, and you're excited when you're able to get them. And whether you trade up for them, they're there when you pick, or you trade back and a guy's there. So we have to continue to draft well, and we have to continue to develop, because that's the only way that you can sustain the success that we envision.
One of the players I wanted to ask you about on your own team is Christian Gonzalez.
Sure.
And, has up for this extension maybe this offseason. What do you just see in him, and do you want to make an extension happen with him?
We want to go. Yeah, we obviously want to move forward with all our best players. I think that's something that I would want, and I know that Elliot wants, and Ryan wants, and Stretch wants, and Robert and Jonathan and our fans want. They want our best players to be on our team, as long as they're really good players. Again, I thought he got better. I thought he played his best football down the stretch, and I thought that that was good to see. I talked about that, and that was something that Gonzo and I, would talk about and share. And he is he's a talented player, and I've pushed him and asked him if he wants to strive to be a captain, and he said that he does, and I'm going to help him try to get there. And I want him to come back with that mindset of not only being an elite player, but also being an elite leader and an elite teammate, which he is an elite teammate, but being able to push these guys and communicate and use his intelligence and what he sees on the field, be able to help other guys.
Just one more for me, Mike. I thought it was really interesting at the podium. You said you're challenging your coaches to bring you something new this offseason. Is there anything else that you feel like you're kind of adjusting year two that you need to make to maybe course correct or just changes?
No, not course correct. I mean, we have to lift. We have to get stronger. When you have a young football team, like, you have to understand that this is a grown man sport. Like, there's a bunch of big men out there playing this game, and so I want to make sure that our players understand how important their physical development is. They may be skilled, but we have some guys that our team, like, everybody's at a different level. Like, where one player is at 12 years into his career and another player is in his second year. Like, here's what I always say. Like, nobody talks about Tom Brady in 2001 and 2000 and how he changed his body and he maximized his God-given genetic ability. Everybody talks about TB12 and the pliability. They don't talk about how hard he worked in the weight room, and he lifted with the tight ends and the linebackers, and he squatted and he hang clean, and he did all those things to make his body the best that it could be for him to play quarterback and to compete and once his opportunity came. So I think that's always a good reminder. I was just looking at how hard this player worked and what people thought it was, but some of us that were there, we got to see that. And I think that's just a good reminder that as a young player, you can still make a lot of gains once you started your career.
Kind of along those same lines, when you did an audit of the season and the Super Bowl, you guys were a great offense during the regular season.
Yeah.
Drake's MVP runner-up. In the playoffs, it seemed to take maybe a little bit of a step back.
Yeah.
Is that young guys in big spots, great defenses?
Well,
like,
we did. I mean, you obviously know what the type of defenses that we play.
Right.
It wasn't like we were playing some rum-dums. These guys were good, and we didn't consistently do enough. I thought there were times where we did, and we weren't able to sustain. And we'll have to go back and understand that to put yourself in those positions and ultimately win a championship, you're going to have to beat good defenses, whether that's at home or on the road or whatever that is. So the consistency of it, the ability to create some X plays, it's hard to drive the ball 10 or 12 plays, and just have to be better, have to improve the details and improve the execution. And again, we're all involved in it. from the coaching to the playing, it's on us all, and that'll be our challenge going forward. We had success, and there was some really good performances, but the margin for error when you get into January really shrinks.
Well, Coach, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you
for
guys. I
stopping by.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We'll see you back in Foxborough. Mike Vrabel, everybody.
See you.
Yeah, you guys should ask more questions when you come back.